Chopping it up, episode 6. We're back. It is a lovely Thursday afternoon. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host.
What's up, Jerry?
I feel like, maybe next time I'll just say Jerry Sullivan, because I always kind of throw
It's
it
always
up.
awkward.
Yeah, and then there's always that little segment there where it's just, okay, next time I will say your name and then also mine. But without further ado, we have seemingly some new sports news. Baseball continuing to drop the ball, not to make a pun there. We have basketball, some comments from Kyrie, and then we have football potentially being in jeopardy. We have some hot takes on Dr. Anthony Fauci. And, actually, about 45 minutes pre-recording, we had an interesting story develop with comedian Chris D'Elia, in that he might have been soliciting nude pictures from a minor, and that other women came out and kind of piled on and said that he had done the same thing with them. So, interesting show we have today. Jerry, you're a big baseball guy as always. I'm going to let you lead the charge on this one. You explain to the nice people at home what's going on, and we'll get it started from there.
Baseball? Okay. Well, baseball, the players over the weekend basically said we're done negotiating.
Right.
Commissioner Manfred, do what you want and just let us know when to show up. And that kind of seemed as though the players were giving up and that everything would be okay, right? Well, wrong. The MLB owners called their bluff. They realized that if they instituted the 50-game season that they wanted, the players were just going to turn around and file a grievance saying that the league didn't put in as many games as it possibly could have. So although it seemed like the players were like, you know what, this is over, we really want to play. In reality, that was not the case. The MLB called that pretty quickly. Wednesday, because today's Thursday, but this will be on Friday. So Wednesday, Players Association Director Tony Clark, Commissioner Manfred met in Arizona face-to-face. Manfred thought they had some type of deal in place at the end of it. Tony Clark
for a 60-game season, right, or something like that?
Yes. The players today countered with a 70-game season that just came out a little while ago. So I think we're getting closer. Last week during the draft, Manfred said that he thought there was a 100% chance the season was happening. On Monday, he then said that he didn't think the season was happening. I think we're trending back in the right direction. They're only 10 games apart at this point. So, the players are going to get their full prorated salaries depending on how many games they play, plus expanded postseasons and
for more money
and all that. Yeah, but I don't know. I still think I'd rather baseball be back, but I think it's too late.
You think? What do you mean? In what sense?
They dropped the ball. Originally it was supposed to be spring training starting a few days ago, with the season starting 4th of July. Now, you're looking at maybe a end of July thing, which guess what? If baseball was able to come back and have a month on its own, it would have been fine. But now, with hockey coming back and basketball coming and all these sports coming back, their postseasons, and then football in the fall apparently
being in
there's
jeopardy.
Too much competition. Yeah.
Well, I think allow me to just go off on this little tangent here, Jerry. I think that this is indicative also of the way Manfred runs the MLB. Now, we saw with the Astros scandal a little taste of what happens when he gets put under the burner and he's kind of forced to make some hard decisions. I think he's kind of like you said, he was like, yeah, definitely we're having a season for sure. Now he's like, guys, I'm not sure. And now it seems like he's flipping back and forth. I think you're right. I think the MLB kind of dropped the ball, because if you think about not only what's going on now, how they're going to lose so much money as it is with NBA, NFL coming back. If NFL comes back, we'll get into that later. The CBA is coming up. That's probably not going to be an ideal situation, because now I knew it was never really a favorable relationship between the Players Association and the Players Union and the MLB itself. But just think about this upcoming CBA. It's going to be terrible, because relations between the two groups have just degraded further and further over the course of this entire thing. And then also you have to take into account the fact that there's it's just overall, like you said, they signed the big deal with, I think it was Turner Sports, right, to air the playoffs. That was a lot of money out of their pocket, and now it seems like they're not going to be making that money back. Certainly not. it seems like a big cock up on the MLB's part. And this is me being like a sort of fan, but I could tell you even from like an outsider's point of view. I mean, this was a huge just mishandling of the entire thing. I think personally, if you want my opinion, I think the MLB can like retroactively come in and just and make like a 50 game regular season, right? If nothing can kind of be like materialized, no deal. I think that should have happened a lot sooner. I think it should have been put into place. I mean, you get to play less games, but at some point, like when do you, like we were talking about that with the economy when all this first started, you need like a kind of system of breaks to come into place where it's like you can't just keep going because, like you said, you're going to lose money and then you're going out and you're signing with Turner Sport or you're re-signing with Turner Sports. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And it was a huge waste of time and money. But like you said, we're coming to an end. It seems like either way, it's going to be an ultimatum. Whether they don't play games or they do, it's going to be there's an end in sight.
I think, yeah, there is an end in sight. I mean, eventually this just became less. I mean, they originally shut down, obviously, for coronavirus, but within the last 3 weeks, this hasn't been a coronavirus stoppage. They could have gone back and started spring training this week if they wanted to. This became a labor stoppage. This was basically the strike that was inevitable a year and a half from now was now kind of happening right now. Hopefully they figure it out now and we kind of delay these problems until they need to be solved in the future. But like this was no longer about coronavirus. This is about money. This is a labor stoppage. It was essentially like, I mean, it wasn't a strike, but it was as close to it as you can get without it being a strike. But the end of this year, whether they play or not, is going to be decided soon. I mean, it needs to be decided soon. But
big time.
With the proposals that are going out now, we're not too far behind July 4th anymore. I mean, the owners yesterday proposed that 60 game season that would start like July 8th or 9th or something like that. It would end September 27th. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where this goes. But I think we're in a much better spot now than we were 2 days ago. In terms of back. So
I think like you said, like it should have come. You're right. It would have, it should have come to fruition a lot earlier. And I think this is something that it's kind of like politics, right? Like in the current situation that the MLB and the players union is in now, you only win if everyone's like if everyone can come to an agreement, but nobody's quite satisfied. There's an old adage in politics where it's like you only win if nobody's satisfied. So you just need to. It's like doing it for the betterment of the sport. And like you said, you could figure out all the minutia later, but just let's play baseball because you got NBA trailing you. You got, they're picking up speed. So you need to be back in the pack, essentially. Especially like I think this extended team playoffs, I mean, that could be interesting. I know October baseball is pretty interesting already, and it's a lot of people watch it. I don't necessarily
DH too.
Yeah, so you have an ability to maybe make back some of the funds and get people back and interested, but you just need to come to a solid deal. Like there's no other way around it.
It should be way easier for baseball to come back than literally any other sport. Why? Because you play outside. Unlike basketball and hockey, you play outside.
Yeah,
which is already a plus. And there's really no contact. Like you're never really too close to anybody. Like the only three people that stand close to each other on the entirety of the field are the catcher, the umpire, and the batter. Other than that, you're far apart from everybody. It should not be as hard as they're making it to be, but it is because like unlike football, you're not making contact. Unlike basketball and hockey, you're not playing inside or making contact. It should be very easy for it to come back. And obviously, it had to be as difficult as they could possibly make it because that's just how
money.
I think it was also like coincidental timing that this week ESPN aired that 30 for 30 on the home run chase from 97 or 98 with Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. It was 98, sorry. And like because they were coming off the strike in 94 and baseball was kind of in a lull. Fans were dropping out, attendance was dropping. Sound familiar? And essentially these two, I mean, they were all roided up and scandal obviously came out of it, but these two essentially saved baseball. I mean, the eyes were on Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire every night. And I think it's creatively timed the fact that everybody seems to be pissed at baseball again, and baseball seems to be tumbling towards a later stoppage, whether it's this year or 2022 or whenever it happens.
Let's get players on the juice then. Let's have them shoot up D-ball.
I'd rather
I
them.
mean,
I'd rather them be on those dudes. I'd rather see
lose.
if Mike Trout and Aaron Judge and Mookie Betts and all these guys were roiding up, Christian Yelich, if all these guys were roiding up and hitting 60 bombs a year, I'd be fine with that. I don't care.
700 yards is like
Yeah.
monster shots, moon shots. I'd watch. You know what? Real talk. I'd watch a lot more baseball if that were the case. I'd probably get into it more. Not saying it's not interesting now, but like if you had guys hitting it like they were hitting, I think it was the Yankees and Red Sox in London, where it was like yeah. Like if it was like that every single game, I'd be there, bro. I'd be tuned in for sure.
Yeah, I mean, what was it like? Like the first game was like 18-12, and the second one was like 13-10.
And the Red Sox came back too. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I mean, the Red Sox fell down 6-0 in the first inning, and like came back in the first inning.
Yeah. So if baseball were like that, I would definitely.
I mean, that was like a 6-hour game.
Yeah. I mean, listen. There's certain things. I don't know if baseball coming out of this could necessarily rebound. I mean, like I said, I don't want to speak on it because I don't have enough experience in the sport. You're the baseball aficionado on this podcast, so you could probably estimate better. But did you have like an idea? And I just thought of this question. Do you have an idea of the trajectory of baseball following this players' strike? Do you see it getting any better with the new CBA? Do you see them maybe marketing their athletes better, maybe more attendance, more fans? Like where do you see them going with that?
I mean, for a sport that seems to have so many problems in the end, like for the last, like, I forget the exact amount of years, but it's around 10 for the last 10 years, the revenues have only increased year to year. So for a sport that seemingly has so much, like, going wrong with it, they still make more money than everybody else. And, you're on a year-to-year basis, or not everybody else, but they still make more money than a lot of sports. And on a year-to-year basis, they make more money than they did last year and the year before that, et cetera, et cetera. So I think they'll be fine. I think everybody's going to hurt this year. I think baseball is going to hurt, especially because they just happen to fall right in the middle of this. Like at least with NBA and NHL, they finished. Or they weren't finished, but they were almost done when this all hit.
75%
MLB wasn't.
Right.
So and you know what? Those other two sports are going to have some trouble getting back too. So, but I think baseball will be fine.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I think there are more athletes now that are easier. Like, obviously, in past years, you've said this too, and this is pretty much your take. Like, MLB has been pretty garbage at marketing their own athletes, but there are a lot more athletes now in the MLB that are easier to market, that have, like, big personalities or that, hit bombs. Like Aaron Judge, right now, it feels like he's slowly becoming, one could say, the face of New York baseball, right? You have easily, yeah. So you have you have tons of guys like Aaron Judge coming on. And I think if, like you said, like it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world, but there's always room for improvement when you talk about that kind of stuff with the MLB.
I think they're getting better at it too because majority of these guys are young. Like Ronald Acuna is only like 21, 22 years old. I mean, Mookie Betts has been around forever. He's only 27, and like a lot of these guys are young, so the easiest way to appeal to the younger generations is to get them with young players. And Ronald Acuna, Juan Soto, like these electrifying guys
with big personalities,
are all young, like our age. So I think that's going to help too. And I think in the end they are getting better at it. There's more household names in baseball. I mean, everybody knows Mike Trout, but you're starting to get some other trickling in guys as well. So.
I liked when I saw, I think it might have been, I'm sure it was actually preseason when they mic'd up Mookie Betts. I think if they do a lot more of that, I think they mic up guys at the All-Star game too. I could be wrong about that, but like, I think they should mic up more guys because that to me, like that put Mookie Betts on the map for me. After I saw him, I forget what game it was, but they played like,
it was like a spring training game. And
and I was like, this guy's like hilarious.
Joking around. Yeah. Well, I mean, like that's the thing though, is that like in the end, they do make like hundreds of millions and more dollars than we are, but they also are like human beings too. Like they go like, I don't know, but I mean, you're never going to get everybody watching every single game because that never happened. And that's just never going to happen. It's not realistic, but I think they are getting better at it. I think they are starting to get more people to tune in. This definitely hurts them a lot, but I think they'll be fine in the end. I just think they blew like a massive opportunity to be literally, and you know what? According to them, it still might happen, but I think they blew a massive opportunity to be. If they don't act soon, I should say, because again, they say it still might happen. If they don't act soon, they will have blown a massive opportunity to be the only sport on a nightly basis for an entire calendar month.
Yeah. Also, I think the shortened season, thinking from like a fan's perspective and stepping outside of the box, a shortened season might make people or certain people more inclined to watch. Like if I'm thinking about it from my perspective, like you're right, dude. I'm not going to sit down and watch every game. And it's interesting that you said that because I'm not going to sit down, especially as a Mets fan, because, I don't want to see my team get like blown out but with a 70-game season, I might tune into more. I'm not saying I'm going to tune into like 70 games. Like that's not going to be the catalyst for me watching more games. Maybe I'd watch a few more. Maybe I'd be more inclined to tune in. I don't know. It could be not a marketable increase, but like I'd probably watch more games with a 70. I don't know. That's just me.
Well, there's pros and cons because with 162, one game to the next. Like if you lose one tonight, no big deal. You get added tomorrow. But with 70 games, every game means like twice as much as they did before. Like every game matters. The difference is with like a 50 or 60, 70 game season is that it's never going to be taken seriously when you look back on it. Because 80 maybe, 70 maybe. But once you get into that 50, 60 territory, it doesn't matter. Just look at last year. Through 50 games, the Nationals were the worst team in baseball at 19-31.
Yeah.
6 months later, they were the World Series champions. If you have a 50-game season, I'm sorry, you're gonna look back on it and you're not gonna take it seriously. Whoever wins it, it might be more exciting at the time, but in the end, that World Series, I hope they have a 50-game season. I hope the Yankees win the World Series because that would be the most illegitimate title of all time.
Well, that's a very interesting point. I think that's a point that you on the show tend to go back to a lot, but it's the most it's a very good example of how the amount of games in a season can affect a team's performance. Because you were right, like the Washington Nationals seemingly were at the bottom of the league, and then they turned it around over the course of however many games with a 50-game season. I think you're right. Every game means more. You obviously don't have as many, so it's going to be hard to bridge the gap. If you're underperforming, you have to take into account like a lot more. Like I know momentum's already a thing in baseball because you have like 3-game series or however many game series, but like especially with 50 games, think about how like prevalent now and how much you have to take momentum into account there too. Now it's a completely different ball game than it was before.
Yeah. Well, not only that too, with baseball too, over the course of 162, you're playing night in, night out. So if you fall into a rut, you kind of get in a tough 6 to 7 game stretch, it doesn't kill you like it does in other sports. Because I'm sorry, it's different than other sports because in NBA, for example, right? You play 2 to 3 games a week. So if you fall into a rut for a week and then kind of bounce back the next week, it's like, well, guess what? You only played 3 games, so you fell into a rut, but it really doesn't kill you. With baseball, if you fall into a rut for a week and you don't do well during a 5 or 6 game stretch, guess what? That 5 or 6 game stretch is an entirety of your season. And it's the other flip side too. The worst team in baseball this year is probably going to be the Marlins and the Orioles. But if the Marlins and the Orioles come out and win 8 of 10 at some point, all of a sudden you're looking at one of the worst teams getting you know what I mean? It'd be illegitimate.
Yeah.
That's where the 162 game season is perfect because by the end of it, it weeds itself out. So in July, it's going to look different than it does in October. By the time you flip the calendar to October, you have those best teams sitting there. There's no team that randomly got hot and got themselves in. If you want to make the playoffs, you have to earn it in baseball. It's not something it's not like the NBA or the NHL where more than half the teams make it. You don't really have to earn it. In baseball, you have to earn it. You have to be one of the better teams in the league for the entirety of the season. And, with a 50-game season, you get hot for a week or two, all of a sudden you're into the playoffs no matter what. And if you could be looking at a team like the Yankees barely sneaking in because they had a 2 or 3 week rough stretch. It'd be viewed as
no question it'll be viewed with an asterisk. No question about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's illegitimate. It would just be viewed differently.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing. I think a lot of sports titles this year, would be viewed with an asterisk. Like I've heard a lot of talk that the NBA finals this year would be viewed with an asterisk, though I don't necessarily know if I believe that.
I don't either.
And then I've heard some stuff about the NHL, but like I think it's interesting what 2 weeks could mean now an entire season. So it's going to be interesting to see how certain teams fare. And how certain teams kind of fall off. Do you think it's going to be more of like a diverse playing field for the playoffs, especially now that I think they extended it for this year, right? Or is it the next?
Yeah, it would be extended for the next 2 years. I mean, I like it. I like the way it was before. I really did. Like, I really liked the way it was before. But I don't know. I mean, more playoffs is good, I guess. I'm just interested to see how it works. But I don't want them shortening the regular season to make more playoffs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus, like, I don't want bad teams making the playoffs either. Like, that's the thing about baseball too. That's so great is that like if you're in the playoffs,
you're supposed to be there.
Like there's no like teams like they suck that like squeeze their way into the playoffs. Like sometimes in football you see like an 8-8 team somehow end up in there, and I'm like, yeah, they're not very good.
Yeah.
But like in basketball, like that 8 seed probably not good. But in baseball, there's really no,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I don't think it's gonna kill them. I think it's an interesting idea. I don't know. Try it. If it doesn't work, go back to what you had.
Yeah. At the least, this is a test year for the league. Yeah. See what works, see what doesn't. All right. Did we want to move on for our second topic? NBA, little spicy drama, little Kyrie Irving being Kyrie Irving or not. I have a little conspiracy theory about that. I knew how you felt about Kyrie Irving coming in, but I don't think in this instance he was being insincere. I think what happened is he became his usual Kyrie self. Wait, hold on. Because I see you making that face. I think after the fact, like there was reports that he left the Nets group chat, right? I think his initial comments were sincere. When he got called on it, instead of acting like a normal person and sticking up and defending, himself, he kind of was just like got in his Kyrie feelings and just left. Now, with this being said, you're a Celtics fan. I was a big follower of the Celtics situation last year with Kyrie. So I know what Kyrie's capable of. I know what happens when his ego takes over, right? It's never a good thing. Is there a good chance that this could be a Kyrie ego thing? Sure. Does he necessarily not want teams playing because he wouldn't have made it to Orlando like Kendrick Perkins said over Instagram? There's a very good chance of that. But I hesitate, especially with the topic at hand, and especially because Dwight Howard, a man who is also on a team that is widely believed to be the NBA Finals winner for the year, has voiced the same concern in a much different situation. I hesitate to kind of detract from Kyrie's stance until I'm shown otherwise. I can't. It feel weird. I don't know. It feels like I need more context that I'm probably going to get because we're not going to be able to see the DMs. We're not going to be able to see that group chat. I know there was a little noise about him wanting to start his own players league or something down the road. So it's very odd. Like I said, that would be very Kyrie to set up, to propose a new players league just like because he thinks he could do that because, I'm Kyrie and the earth is flat. But, like, I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But, usually I wouldn't give him any slack. But with the subject hand at matter, I'm more predisposed to give him a little bit of leeway and hear him out first. Because from what I know, he hasn't really issued any response to Kendrick Perkins, though I could be wrong. I know, what's his name? KD did. Kevin Durant did, but Kyrie has kind of just gone dark, left the Nets group chat. That in itself might be an admission. I'm not sure, though.
Well, I got a couple of things. The next group chat thing with that players only league, I think that was him thinking. Like I don't think he's woke enough to actually think that he could start his own league. I think that was more that he thought he had a leak and he was trying to find out where it was from. And I think he left that Nets group chat because he put it in that Nets group chat. It got leaked, so he left because he figured out where the leak was coming from. That's why I think that player's only leak thing was coming from. I don't think he was actually serious about that. I think he was trying to figure out who the leak was.
Well, you think he set that up to like?
Yes, I think he set that up because he's trying to figure out who's leaking all this stuff.
Could be the case.
Number 2, I don't know. I can't believe I'm gonna say this. I mean, like, I don't wanna make light of the situation with the issues at hand. All right, 2 things. Number 1, I'm not gonna tell him how to protest. I'm not gonna tell him how to feel because that's not my place. However, I don't want to make light of this situation. I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but like, do I agree with LeBron here? Like, didn't LeBron say that like they'd be able to make
a big component of returning to play, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen. Here's the thing that I also forgot to mention. Kyrie's motives. Like, I talked in depth about that, but Austin Rivers.
That's what I was going to bring up too. Austin Rivers bring up the good point that, like, it's easy for Kyrie to say that when in reality some of these guys need the pay. Like, I'm not saying feel bad for LeBron or any of these guys, but like, the guys at the end of your bench that might not be in the league next year that could really use some of these checks, like, because you only have a certain window to make your money, and depending on who you are, your window might be smaller than others. So I'm not saying feel bad for the Kyries and the LeBrons of the world, but I'm saying feel bad for that like point guard or center that's sitting at the end of the bench that's never going to play in the playoffs but need these checks.
Yeah, and I also think too, like, another thing that Austin Rivers touched on, which I thought was very and also a great point, was that he kind of said that he's like, hey, Kyrie, man, like, how do you think that we'll be more equipped to help? Do you think we'll be more equipped to help if we sit out and not make our money and not be in a position of power? Or do you think that we could use, I think something along the lines of, basically, if they play, they make more money, they're able to donate more or allocate more money towards the movement, and also use the NBA as sort of like a jump off point or like a medium, right, to kind of help the movement, which I thought was very interesting, and I thought is very smart on Austin Rivers' part, because if you think about it, a lot of people would be watching the NBA if they can figure out a way, and I know Adam Silver would be down for that because they've had Black History Month shirts in the past, they've had I Can't Breathe shirts in the past, so Adam Silver has allowed that to go down where they have voiced their concerns over certain political movements going on in the U.S. I don't see why they couldn't just return to play and use that as almost a, like I said, like a medium, like a platform to show support, use their funds that they get from playing, some of them, to show support. Like, Kyrie, I just don't think maybe he didn't see the full picture. I'm not sure what to think with all this Kyrie stuff, man. It's so weird.
I mean, I can in a way though kind of see like what he's saying too, though. Like I agree with you with everything you just said. However, I do also see like what he's concerned about, where it's like the coverage and the focus moves away from the movement and more towards basketball. Like, I see what he's saying with that, but I also do agree with you that I think they'd be able to do more by playing versus not playing. Moving away from that, the details that are emerging for this bubble is preposterous. I mean, highlighted by the no doubles in ping pong. You play ping pong with no doubles in ping pong. They get like
they can't leave
access to all the Disney stuff, all the Disney movies and shows, including unreleased ones. So they get to see like Black Widow and stuff.
Yeah, but you know what? I have Disney Plus, and that shit's trash. So I'm not even convinced.
Unreleased stuff. Like, they get unreleased movies that was supposed to get put out, so they can see like Black Widow, Mulan, whatever they want. The snitch hotline, where basically like you call up this number of people. I mean, Chris Paul is going to be calling out on his first round opponent, right?
He untucked his jersey.
Yeah. Chris Paul is going to be calling out. LeBron's going to be like, "Hey, I heard Giannis left the bubble to go grab himself a pizza.
Get him out of here."
Like that, yeah. No, that was, and I mean, I know you saw this too. The hotel you stay at is based on your seating.
Yeah.
So like the higher seeds get to stay at the nicest hotels. if they let everybody back in, if they let everybody back in, like all 30 teams, like the Knicks would be at like a Motel 6, right?
The Knicks would be staying outside of the premises. They'd be sleeping in the parking lot.
Right. Like they have to pay for their own room.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, breaking news. Jamal Adams asks Jets for trade.
Oh. I feel like that's been kind of going on for a while now.
Yeah.
Like there was a whole thing with the Cowboys and then
officially official now though.
No, I know. I'm saying, but that's always been like an unofficial thing.
No, it's been a rumor for a long time. Yeah, it's been a rumor since he showed up. So
yeah.
Anyways, but back to
Good for him, dude, getting out of that dumpster fire.
The bubble. I'm interested. Per usual, I think it's gonna be more dramatic than it needs to be, which is why the league is so great.
They also have. I don't know if you saw. They have rings that can detect.
Oh yeah, test for coronavirus.
Yeah,
you'll get them for Iona when we go back.
Dude, that'd be awesome. I'd want to wear that ring. Looks nice too. If it just wasn't Disney. Like Here's the thing. The only really preposterous thing with that entire thing is the hotline, the anonymous hotline. It's just like I don't know. If you're having teams, right? If you're having them stay in hotels and you're having them go to a whatever, I think it's a world sports complex or whatever.
Disney World, whatever.
Yeah. They wouldn't be going to that many different places.
If they have to stay there, then
right. What's the difference if you have someone just, I don't know, like just keeping like there's got to be some other way of surveying whether someone leaves or not. I feel like there's definitely a better way.
I think the more preposterous thing is the no doubles in ping pong. Because, like, think about it. Like, you're sharing the same ball. You're playing a contact sport with each other. You can't stand next to each other and play ping pong doubles. Which,
also,
by the way,
you're going to go out and play basketball where you can literally back someone down.
Right. But does anybody even play doubles in ping pong? What a ridiculous idea.
I'm a ping pong master.
If you play doubles in ping pong, you probably still have your trophies from T-ball sitting on your shelf.
Oh, I was going to say deserve to have Corona, but sure, no. No. Listen, I can confirm as an avid ping pong player on my back deck that doubles are not the move. You know what? Considering, and we got time. Let's get off on this tangent. Who thought that doubles in ping pong was a good idea to begin with? You know what? Because I know for a fact, Kyrie didn't say that he wanted to play doubles in ping pong, did he?
I'm sure he does.
Oh, that would be a very Kyrie thing to do. I mean, the table itself isn't really even big enough to sustain two people on each side. You know what I mean? You have to be like playing like this. Like I've played doubles ping pong in the past. It's just not an enjoyable experience. You know, so it's going to be interesting with this playoff bubble and the the anonymous hotline. I don't think anyone's really even going to need to use it though, because it's like where would you need to go? First off, they're setting them up with these like state-of-the-art things with like 2K, all the Disney food. Like, if I'm an NBA player, I'm not going to be like, well, I've got like 5-star chefs over here, but there is a 7-Eleven down the street. I might just go grab a slushie. Like, nobody's going to say that. You know what I mean?
Plus, not only that, you get to have your family there if you want them there. Like, I don't know, there's nowhere for you to need to go. I'd rather be there than where I am right now. So
yeah,
I would me.
I'll get posterized by Giannis, and like I'll get my ankles broken by CP3 if I can stay there. That'd be pretty cool, dude. Sign me up in the starting. We should try out for the starting rotation on the Knicks. Oh, actually, no, they wouldn't be there anyways. But you know, listen, it sounds like a fun place to be. I don't think they're going to need to use the anonymous hotline, but it sure is a really hilarious idea that that's even a thing, and that players would probably even want to use that. I mean, like, realistically, Jerry, if you're an NBA player and someone sneaks out, say you see, like, I'll use your example, Giannis going out and getting, like, Pizza Hut or something, and you see him at the dead of night sneaking back in with, like, are you saying anything?
No.
Right. No.
Because I'm probably going to be doing it the next day. And you know what? Whatever works, write down and save, and whatever doesn't work, also write down and save that. And whatever notes you take, just send it to the NFL for their Tony Fauci Memorial Bubble.
All right. Well, that was a great. Yeah, we're getting better at these transitions, Jerry. Well, I guess with that, we can move on to Dr., as you call him, Tony Fauci.
Fauci says that the NFL needs a bubble if they want to come back. That's essentially what he said. He also said that if baseball wants to have a season, they need to finish it by October. Not during October, by October. October 1st, baseball should be done.
Think about flu season and the second wave of corona that he thinks is going to hit.
Here's the deal with the Fauci man. All right, listen.
Fauci man.
He knows more than I do on the subject. However, his opinion changes every 5 seconds. What he tells you yesterday is not going to be the same thing tomorrow. I mean, remember for like 2 months he was saying don't wear masks?
Yeah, now it's masks.
Now one day he shows everybody has to wear a mask everywhere now.
Yeah. And then it was outside, now it's inside.
When we might not have a vaccine for a while, now all of a sudden we're definitely gonna have a vaccine by the end of the year.
But that's gonna be rushed.
Curve. Now we can't reopen all the way until we have a vaccine. Like what he says changes every 5 seconds.
100%. Well, I don't like the idea too of rushing a vaccine because God knows what they're gonna put in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, forget that for a second. Like I don't know anything about vaccines or anything, but I'm just talking about football. Like, do we need a bubble in 3 months? Is that really what we need?
Well, that's what I was going to say, dude. It's like, he's like, basically what Dr. Fauci's saying is like, if you want to play football, you better be careful. And then the football issued the NFL issued a statement. They were like, yeah, no, that's exactly what we're going to do. Like, they're going to be stringently testing the players. Like, they're going to be careful about it. He's acting like they're just going to be literally like, allowed to go wherever they want, come back in, play games. Like, you don't think that the NFL, an organization that's literally drawn in so much money over the years and has state-of-the-art facilities, you don't think that they're going to come up with a plan that is going to be like airtight and that players will be tested? I mean, I know obviously there's Ezekiel Elliott, the safety from the Broncos. I forget his name. Kareem Jackson, excuse me. And then a couple of other Texans players tested positive. But like you said, it's 3 months away, dude. Like, what do you think is going to happen in 3 months? That combined with, it's just like, it's like someone saying it's like, make sure to, I don't know. Like if you're going to, don't go into the lion enclosure. It's like, yeah, well, I already knew to do that. I don't need you to, you know what I mean? I don't know. It just seemed like kind of pointless to me. And it's like, it's a big jump on Anthony Fauci's part. That's just what it seemed like to me.
I don't know. I mean, if you can't bubble, and it's different than the NBA because the NBA you only have 12 guys and you only have a certain amount of teams. The NFL is like 50-something guys for 30 teams. You're gonna bubble them for 4 months? Get out of here! It's not realistic.
Well, what do you think they would do? I mean, obviously
they're gonna do instead. No fans to start off, or maybe they do have fans to start off. I don't know. We're gonna be in 2 months. I don't care to think about that. But like, do whatever they're gonna do to start and adapt. But like, I don't think a bubble is necessarily realistic. Because not only that, how is that going to work? Like, how are you going to play all those games? Like, it just, you have to play 16. I just don't understand how it would ever work.
I think the common denominator is just time. Like, we're going to need to wait and figure it out. But for Fauci to say that, it's just, it seems like, it's like, what are you talking about, man? Like, obviously he has everyone's best health in mind, and he has, everyone's best interests in mind, but at the same time, dude, it's like it's so far away.
Are you not a conspiracy theorist? You don't think Fauci's in on it?
You think Fauci's trying to like tank the?
I didn't say that. I just said there are people who say that.
Jerry, you gotta relax, bro. We're gonna have the FBI come in. There's gonna be a red laser dot. Just like
people that think Tony F is this is all tinfoil hat stuff. But there are people that think the Fauci man is using Corona for some stuff.
What, just like for his own political gains or whatever? Not political gains, but just for his own, like,
I think economic gains. Probably.
I was gonna say money. Yeah, economic gains. I don't know.
All of a sudden, the economy is hurt, and all of a sudden, big Jeff Bezos and Billy Gates and all these guys are all of a sudden like, they can't have enough money. I don't know. Just seems a little fishy, don't you think?
Smells a little fishy. We on the Lolo Down podcast always err on the side of conspiracy theories. So it's a wild situation. It's a wild year overall. I guess with that, we can end off the show because we've been going for quite a while now. Guys, this has been episode 6 of the Lolo Down podcast. Subscribe on iTunes. Subscribe on YouTube. If you like it, of course. If not, that's fine. Thank you for watching.
Just do it anyways. It really doesn't take that much effort. Just do it.
Yeah, there you go. Jerry has a backbone.
Just refresh the page a couple of times on YouTube. Kill the app. Play it again. Subscribe. Unsubscribe. Rate it again. Unsubscribe. Subscribe. Rate again. Subscribe and unsubscribe and all that. In the end, if you really don't like it, then you can remain unsubscribed. Although actually, if you subscribe it's really not that big a thing on you. Just delete the episodes when they download. Yeah. That's simple. Actually, play them so that way we get the number and then delete.
Yeah, mute your phone and just play them in the background, or get Katie to go on one of his 17 burner accounts and like ours as well. Get with an argument on. Get in an argument with him on like Twitter or something, and then just have him.
But really blow our numbers up.
Yeah. But without further ado, guys, that's been the episode. Thank you so much, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.